Oh, this is great. It's so good to see you again.
It's great to see you too, Bobby. You look amazing. You
Thank you.
you you
I,
age you
I
age
don't
so
age.
much better than I do.
I don't age. It's very good skin tone. I'm
Yeah.
really glad. So what a lot of people understand is you're an actual real psychologist, right?
I'm a licensed independent clinical social worker. That's what they call it in Massachusetts.
Okay.
Yes, licensed therapist since 2002. You got it. Good
So
memory.
you're not one of these people just running around throwing stuff out for the sake of throwing stuff out, right?
Exactly.
So
Yeah, I would like to think. Yeah,
you understand mental illness and all that stuff very well, right? Because you studied it.
I, Yes, exactly.
Okay.
And have given more than 20 years of my life toward helping people.
20
Yes,
years of
find
working on
tools.
mental
Yeah,
illness. That's
yeah.
like it might be mental illness itself. However,
That's a whole other conversation, but that's a good point about self-care and compassion fatigue for sure. Yeah.
well, I'm very glad I got you because I've been looking at social media and I see a lot of people talk about mental health this, mental health that, and I've been wondering, okay, I need to come up with what's my mental health angle, what's my problem to grow my network. So can you help me? Can we come up with some kind of fake diagnosis where I can go on social media and act like I have a
Oh
problem
man.
when I
Oh
really don't,
man.
or when the problem's been resolved? Because this is what I see happening. And I see people really, really getting a lot of followers. Am I wrong?
Wow. Well, there is an actual diagnosis for that called malingering, which is when
Okay.
people actually create a fictitious diagnosis for their own personal benefit. So
Well, I
if
like that.
that's
That
the
could be fun.
diagnosis, if
That
I
could
was
be.
going to say, if you're trying to capitalize and you're trying to reverse engineer
First of
how
all,
can you
I
benefit,
like the name malingering.
yeah, malingering,
It
that's an
sounds like
actual
a video game. It sounds
diagnosis.
like you have
Yeah.
different levels.
Yes. Yeah, there's many forms of that in terms of there's one that's called fictitious disorder. There's even
Uh-huh.
somatization, which is where you have, a psychological symptom that manifests in physical symptomatology. So, but you bring up a good point. If you notice or see anyone doing that, that's horrible because there are real people in the world who are dealing with real mental health, diagnoses coupled with potentially learning, challenges or even addiction on top of all that. So, yeah, that stinks if someone is actually trying to do that for their own
I
personal
can't
gain.
believe that everybody has mental illness. That's my problem. Statistically, how many people are mentally ill statistically?
Oh, that's a great question. I don't know, but you're right. Not everyone has mental illness, and obviously, there's so many reasons I think for why there is more discussions of it, which many of them are great. More awareness, right,
Right,
equals more conversations and better diagnosing and
right.
assessment, and however. But yeah, I think we always have to take a hard look at ourselves and figure out what can we control and what is our relationship with food, what's our relationship with chemicals, have we been outside? There's this thing called outside, believe it or not. Exercise, sleep, right? So
Right.
yeah, there's a lot of things that I think a lot of etiological factors leading to where we are as a nation or a world. And I
Okay,
do
well,
hope people.
I'll throw out this idea of creating a fake illness to grow my network. Okay, that's good. Okay, we'll throw that one out, and everybody else
Well,
should.
because then you wouldn't have integrity. You wouldn't have integrity. I know you care a lot about integrity, I
I'm
think,
a
right?
bear. We don't. We just eat salmon and honey. We integrity is too big of a word for us.
Okay, okay. Yeah, but again,
Let's
keep calling those people out though. Those if you see people that are you think actually trying to be cavalier and malinger and then benefit financially from it,
yeah,
that stinks because that
yeah,
makes my job harder because what happens to me sometimes is I get lumped into this world that you intimated in the beginning of people who really aren't experienced and don't really know how
right.
to help people and provide differential diagnoses and discern the difference between coaching and therapy and where do
Right.
we go, what is actual and effective treatment plan. So good job.
So yeah, so let's about that. When people need help, when people like they really do have a problem and they're finally ready to get help, and it's usually a couple, right, that you work with.
Yeah, couples, a lot of families, a lot of parents to help them help their child and shift their family toward wellness.
Gotcha,
Absolutely.
gotcha. So what's the number, what's the number one, two, or three things that people end up finally going into therapy, especially couples therapy? What are the things?
Oh, they haven't moved that much. It's always money, right? It's
Mhm.
how you parent. It's intimacy, which sex is a part of that, right? It's languages of love. It's connection. It's those are the classics for sure. And kids are brilliant, right? It's standing inside that little space that parents might create when they get split, and
Right.
sort of conducting the orchestra. So I help
Yeah.
families close the gap by being a more united front and presenting a co-parenting kind of system, and then also taking some power back, because often these parents I work with have abdicated a lot of power to their kids, which is very anxiety provoking for the child.
I think kids are smart. They know when to take their opportunity,
Oh
and
yeah.
they know how to play all
Oh
sides of
yeah.
the fence. Kids are not stupid.
They are not stupid, not at all.
So
Yeah.
let's talk about kids. You work with kids too, right?
I do, yeah.
This is
Because
a
I work with the parents, I
yeah.
work with the kids, and a lot of times I wind up just coaching the parents to create a better outcome or culture. But I also do work directly as a therapist in
Gotcha.
northern, north of Boston. Yes, in
Gotcha.
my practice.
I think this is a very difficult time for kids because I think bullies in the school really they can't. There's nowhere for them to go anymore. They can't be bullies. They get in trouble. What's a bully supposed to do now? I mean, it
That
used
is a
to
good
be,
question.
yeah. What's a bully going to do? How do they get? How do they get help?
Well, I mean, obviously, a bully definitely could get help if they are open to realizing that their bullying actually might be effective on some levels, but globally, it probably isn't effective, right? Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence Others. That's probably a good book for any bully to take a look at. But maybe they desire power and control, and they want to be, in a hierarchical relationship. And one day they're, running a company, but they're going to need to learn to raise their emotional quotient and have better self awareness and emotional intelligence. So I'd be glad to work with bullies. I actually love working with bullies. I also love working with people that are being bullied to help them take power back. But
Okay,
if
so
you're
let's
talking
talk
about a
about that.
larger point, yeah,
Let's talk about the poor kid that gets bullied. Okay, so they get bullied. They come to the therapist's office, and how do you get them? Okay.
it's a great question. I mean, it first starts with validating and empathizing with their experience, but also lending part of kind of, my courage, if you will, to them so they can have courage. And then we figure out what do they want to do about it. So often, a lot of the families, which of course, if it's a safety issue, they do need to get involved. And maybe you do need to get structural solutions with the school administration as well. But sometimes families come in over the top and, in fact, rob the power or agency from that child. So it's a very individualized approach, but I always want to help kids have self efficacy. And then we can look at micro and macro solutions that feel right to that child.
Well, that's good. Well, thanks for coming on the show. I always love talking to
Oh,
you.
no worries. It's great seeing you. You look amazing as always. And
Thanks.
I can't wait to see where you go from here. Be well,
Thanks.
buddy.
Awesome to have you on the show
Bye.
again.
Take care. Bye.